Shabbat. And Ben. Michael, the camera's red, the mic is red. Please. That's what I was going to say. Hallelujah. So it's great to be back.
Yes.
3 months after the last time we were able to gather together here to pray. And I'd say this is a Shehechianu moment. Because one of the things that Cantor and I decided after the lockdown was that we wouldn't return until all three of us could return. We were waiting for Michael to be able to get vaccinated so that he would be safe with us. And we are so delighted to be back together. And so please join us in a Shehechianu because it has been far too long for us to be able to greet you from this sacred space.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
And Cantor, you know who has been waiting very patiently these last 3 months to come and join us as well?
Besides me?
Besides you, I saw the Sabbath Queen waiting outside the door for us. Should we sing to her and let her know we want her to come back in here? I mean, she had a great time at my house and everything, but this is a much nicer place to pray. Are you guys ready?
Bring the Malka.
Bring the Malka in. Let's bring the Queen. So we welcome in the Sabbath Queen back into our sanctuary with Lecha Dodi on page 138. And to switch it up tonight, we're going to be singing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9.
Tricky.
You are in rare form, Rabbi. It's so nice to hear your jokes in real time without the lag. Lecha Dodi Likrat kala penei Shabbat nekava Shabbat shalom Shabbat shalom Shabbat shalom umevorach Shamor v'zachor v'dibur echad hishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet, v'litehila. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom u'mevorach. Likrat Shabbat lekhu v'nelecha ki mekor haberaka merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh במחשבה תחילה. שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שבת שלום ומבורך. התעוררי, 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 כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שבת שלום ומבורך.
רואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
שבת שלום, שבת שלום, שבת שלום מבורך.
We continue together with Shalom Aleichem on page 144. The blessing for the candles, can be found on page 120.
Shalom Aleichem
142.
Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon Minelech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bochem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon Melech, Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Barchuni v'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon Melech, Malachei Amlachim
HaKadosh Baruch Zeitchem L'Shalom Malchei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Melech Malchei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch. Now we continue on page 144 with the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkada veyitkada shemei Rabba Ve'almad yivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Bagala uv'izman kariv Ve'imeru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach Leolam lo me'omaya Yitbarach ve'yishtabach V'yitpar v'yitramam v'yinasei V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitala Shemei d'kudashah
B'richu
Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran be'alma Ve'imeru Amen Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed.
We continue together with the Ma'ariv Aravim on page 148.
La 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 Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu
melech haolam
Asher bidbaro
Ma'ariv aravim Ma'ariv aravim
Chokma poteach sharim המשנה איתי ומחליף את הזמנים
ומסדר את הכוכבים
במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו וחושך מפני אור ומאוויר יום ובין לילה ומבהיר בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב הרבים. לי 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 המעריב הרבים. תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נצליח בחוקיך ונשמח ונראה תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגן יומם ולילה ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד 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 ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד
We continue together with the Ve'ahavta on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
You know, as we stand back in this place with one of us already vaccinated, I feel like we haven't quite crossed the Red Sea yet, but I feel like I could see the water beginning to ripple, just starting to part.
Puddles are drying.
And I cannot wait till we go dancing across it, hand in hand. But maybe we should practice celebrating. What do you think? Should we shake out our timbrels?
It won't be long, yeah.
No?
It is there.
It is
Yes.
there? I'm ready.
Shake it up, Rabbi.
One of the most miraculous things to me is that when our ancestors were leaving Egypt, not enough time for the matzah to bake into bread, not enough time to pack all the things that they might need on that journey. Miriam told the women, pack the timbrels. You may not realize it now, but there will be a time when we need to celebrate. Page 158.
Kifada Ananiat Yaakov Ugelong Miad Chazak Mimenu Baruch Ata Adonai
Shalom.
Yisrael.
So as I said, we're not quite on the other side. We see a glimmer of hope. Before it's time to cross those waters, though, we have to look back at where we are now, to look around and see all those faces who are seeking safety and shelter. All of our brothers and sisters throughout this world who are laying down tonight, feeling the cold air on their face, no roof up above, bellies hungry from not having enough food. And so as we go to sleep tonight, as we think of the words of the Hashkivenu, where we ask God to give us a Sukkat Shalom, a shelter of peace, let's remember that we are obligated to act like God, to do for others as we would have God do for us. So let's think about the things that we can do. The money we could donate to food banks, perhaps blankets or sleeping bags to those who need warmth. How can we create a Sukkat Shalom for those who are in need? Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom Damideinu Malkeinu Lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guard us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom Damideinu Malkeinu Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom
continue together with the Vishamru on page 162.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotav berit olam beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz u'bayom hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbat vayinafas Shabbat Shabbat vayinafas Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotav berit olam beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam.
We rise for the tefillah beginning on page 164.
Adonai Safatai Tiftachu Fi Agitei Latecha Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei hakol, vezocher chasderot b'imahot, umevi geula livnei b'neihem, lema'an shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mekayei Hakol Atah Rav Le'Oshia Mashiv Ruach Umorid HaGashem Mekakel Chayim Bechesed Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, somech noflim verofei cholim, umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar, mi kamocha ba'al gevurot, umidol melach, melech mimit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua v'neman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai
מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue praying privately, either standing or sitting, as is your custom. We continue from pages 172 through 178.
Adonai Tsuri, Adonai Tsuri Vegoali, Adonai Tsuri, Adonai Tsuri Vegoali. Go inside your heart, just be. Go inside your heart and see what it wants, what it needs, what it yearns when you breathe. Go inside your heart and see. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart kind, be true. May they be acceptable to you, oh my rock and my redeemer. Ratzon imrefi ve'yom libi. Ratzon imrefi ve'yom libi lefanecha.
Our thoughts and our prayers now turn towards those in our lives who are in need of healing. And as we offer the Misha Berach, please feel free to write in the chat the names of your loved ones who you are praying for tonight, praying for refuah shlema, a complete healing of body and spirit. We continue on page 371.
Misha Berach אברהם, יצחק ויעקב. מי שברך אמותינו, שרה רבקה לאה ורחל. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer, hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with a vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way.
מי שברך אבותינו, מי שברך אמותינו, hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer, hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer,
Hear our prayer.
hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Shabbat Shalom.
Many, many years ago, when I was a rabbinical student in Los Angeles, I remember one notable morning during tefillah when there was suddenly a buzz that went through the room. We looked to the door of the chapel and saw that a number of California tribal leaders were joining us that morning. We, of course, started murmuring and wondering what made that morning different than all other mornings. No laugh? In here. Okay. After services, we asked our teachers what was going on. They explained that the tribal leaders had come to consult with us and learn from our professors about how to transmit one's culture and religion when it was rooted in its connection with a piece of land, but your people no longer have access to that land. The tribal leaders had seen what the Jewish people had done for the last 2,000 years, and they came to learn from us so that they could preserve their own culture. This month marks a full year of us being in exile from our land, our B'nai Israel campus. Now, our story is not as brutal or as difficult as so many others who've been in exile through the ages, but this last year has given us a little taste of what it means to be in exile from a sacred space. And like the generations that came before us, we've had to be creative in redefining sacred space and find ways to connect when we could no longer come together in our traditional place to gather. Last Sunday, I spent my 4th day in the last year doing what I call parking lot Judaism. Because the B'nai Israel campus has essentially been closed for the last year, we've had to be creative in how we reach out and stay connected with each other. So last Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Hanukkah, and now Purim, Cantor and I, along with the rest of our staff and lay leaders, have stood in the parking lot for hours, waving, blowing kisses, and trying to connect with our community. It has been very emotional for both the cantor and I to be able to see all of you. Well, to see your eyes and to hear your voices, because while all of you have been able to see us on Friday nights, we haven't been able to see any of you. And we miss you so very, very much. In fact, every time I drive by the temple, I can feel my heart tighten and sadness overwhelm me, simply wanting to be in this space again, surrounded by our community. But last Tuesday, I got some important insight about what these parking lot encounters have meant to some of you. I was having a Zoom meeting with someone who was telling me how much her son had enjoyed the Purim Carnival, but when they were leaving the parking lot, she had started to cry. And this startled her son, who asked her if she was okay. And she tried to explain to him that she was, but that it had meant a lot to her to simply be at the temple, even if it was just in the parking lot, and that she found herself overwhelmed by the emotion. As she told me this, she apologized if it sounded strange. I said, not at all. After all, it's exactly what Jews have been doing for thousands of years. And she looked at me quizzically, and I asked her if she knew why the Kotel, why the Western Wall, was considered holy. And she said she didn't. So I explained. In the time that the temple stood, the Kotel was simply a retaining wall around the base of Mount Zion. It was meant to prevent a landslide. Because when Herod had renovated the second temple, he needed to widen Mount Zion and build it up and build it out so that he could support the new massive campus of the Holy Temple. So he built a retaining wall around the base of the mountain. And the place where we now gather to pray was likely nothing more than the site of shopping stalls and booths, nothing special, just where pilgrims or tourists would have gone to pick up trinkets or souvenirs, or maybe lunch on their way to or from the Temple Mount. That space that we now know as the Kotel only became holy ground when the temple was destroyed in the year 70, and we were forbidden to go up to the temple ruins. What had once been a simple wall became transformed into our holiest spot because of the tears and the prayers that were uttered there, and because that space was as close as we could get to our beloved temple. The Kotel was not consecrated by God, but by our longings and our collective memories of a better time. In other words, our parking lot has become like the Kotel. It is the spot that is closest to the temple where we can gather together during the holidays, a place where we can come together and remember better times and hope for better times in the future. Later that Tuesday, I discussed with our confirmation students what makes a holy place. They spoke about how a place where happy or meaningful memories are made or shared becomes a sort of holy ground, a place where we become transformed because of what we have done there, either by ourselves or with others. It is a place where we feel safe and fully ourselves. These are our holy spaces. As a community, Jews have discovered that we can carry sacred space with us. When we face Jerusalem to pray, we are once again standing on the Temple Mount looking towards the Holy of Holies. When we gather together at our Seder tables, we are again with Moses and Miriam and Aaron fleeing slavery and running towards freedom. When we sit in our Sukkot, we are once again appreciating the fragility of our life and the life of our ancestors that they felt when they were sent to wander in each of their new wildernesses. And when we hear the 10 Commandments chanted on Shavuot, we are standing at Sinai once again. And each and every Shabbat, when we come together around our YouTube screen, we are once again gathering in our sanctuary on Riverside Boulevard, warmly greeting each other and welcoming in the Sabbath Queen to celebrate with us. And if all we can do sit in our cars in our temple parking lot, waving to one another, and we suddenly feel overwhelmed with emotion, then we know that we have done again what we had once did with an ordinary wall. We have made that place holy, which was once simply an ordinary place. Because it is, as we learned when we built our first Mishkan, our first sacred space so long ago in the desert, holiness is portable, and God is to be found everywhere if we but open our hearts to the possibility. Shabbat Shalom.
There's a storm across the valley, clouds are rolling in. The week is resting heavy on our shoulders, but Shabbat brings us new peace, and we're back where we belong. And everything here's like we were never gone. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Yes, it is. Sometimes this old shul, it feels like a long-lost friend. And hey, it's good to be back home again. Well, we spent an hour sending our prayers up to the sky, and the time since we've been here is barely gone. But there are candles softly burning, own eggs on the stove. But it's the light in your eyes that makes us warm. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Yes, it is. Sometimes this old shul feels like a long-lost friend. Oh, hey, it's good to be back home again. It's the sweetest thing we know of, spending time with you. It's the little things that make a house a home. Like candles softly burning, own egg on the stove, and the light in your eyes to keep us warm. Sing with me. Hey, it's good to be back home again. Yes, it is. Sometimes this old shul seems like a long-lost friend. Oh, and hey, it's good to be back home again.
Michael, I feel like you are the soundtrack that has gotten me through the last year. Don't you always feel like after Michael sings, I'm like, I always have to wipe away a tear or two.
I didn't know he was Jewish.
Well, according to God, he was a nice enough boy, so. So much going on in the month of March, a lot happening. Tonight, after services, get some sleep because there's a lot coming up in the weeks to come. There's no oneg tonight, just what you provide in terms of conversation and sweets in your own house. But tomorrow morning, we continue our celebration of Shabbat with Torah study at 9:30 in the morning. And then at 10:30, we have both mini minyan and Kavanah Shabbat going on concurrently. Sunday morning, we've got religious school starting at 9:30 in the morning, Katantan starting at 10 in the morning. And for those of you who didn't have a chance to pick up your Mishloach Manot last week and you got a note saying you can pick it up again, that will be from 11:30 to 12:30 on Sunday in the parking lot. 7 o'clock on Sunday night, we have a theme with Dr. Glenn Hamill, who will be, the discussion topic will be, what does being old even mean? I think he's looking for a definition. I'm not sure if this is like his own self-help group, but it should be interesting. Dr. Hamill, I hope you find the answer that you're looking for.
Yes.
Also coming up in March, on Sunday, March 14th, we will be holding a memory circle. For so many of you in this last year, you have lost your loved ones and have not been able to have the proper or traditional ways to mourn, like being able to come together for a funeral or come together in your homes for a minyan. And so Denny Marshall, a member of our congregation, a licensed therapist, as well as studying in rabbinical school, will be holding a memory circle, an opportunity for you to share, for those of you who've lost a loved one in the last year, to come together to share your stories and your memories of those whom you've loved and lost. Also on March 21st, the following Sunday, there will be a new member mixer, so keep your eyes out for details in the Chadashot on that. And ending this month will be Pesach. The first night of Passover is Saturday, March 27th, but on March 28th, we will be bringing back our second night Seder. Cantor and I will be leading that on Zoom, and Arla Hesterman of Aharona Catering will be providing opportunities for you to be able to sign up and still order a Seder dinner, and so you could join us with the Women of B'nai Israel's second night Seder. And since it's virtual, feel free to tell your family and friends from around the country. Everyone is welcome to join us. I think that's it for right now. All the details for all of these events can be found either in this week's Chadashot or on our website for all the details and the links. And I am sure that there is more coming up in addition to that this month. And so, Michael, as I said, you always bring a tear to my eye, but a happy tear, and I appreciate it. Cantor, to see you in 3D. I've dreamed about this moment. And Ryan, I want to thank you and Dean for holding down the fort as Cantor and Michael and I led the service from our homes. You still came into the sanctuary and made all of this electronically possible. And so we thank both of you for coming in each and every Shabbat so that we could come into the homes of our congregants.
And Rabbi, it's wonderful to hear your words in person and to not have any worry that
I'm going to suddenly disappear from the screen.
and or that we're going to have to tell you, you're still on mute. You're still on mute.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, why is Maggie's face popping up into the screen?
Yes.
Maggie is really was not happy with me when I left the house.
No, that is a new experience.
She's going to have to get over it. Mm-hmm. So we continue now with our services with the, full-ish Aleinu on page 586. We continue on the bottom half of page 586. For those who are able, please rise.
Aleinu l'shaveach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא Bayom Hahu Yiyeh Adonai Echad Ushemo 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 Echad.
Please be seated. "2021 has brought so many passings, so many deaths to loved ones in our congregation. But for one family in particular, this has been a very, very painful year. And it is our tradition to welcome people back into our midst the first time that they join us after having said goodbye to a loved one. And for Stephen Cohn and Catherine Travers, this has been a particularly difficult time. Stephen's father, beloved father, Edwin Cohn, passed away about a week ago. And it is a horrifying thing and a terrible thing to see one's father and one's child on the Kaddish list at the same time. No one should ever have to see their child's name on the Kaddish list. And so Steve and Catherine and Adam, our hearts go out to all of you on the passing of Edwin Cohn, your beloved father and father-in-law and beloved grandfather, as well as on the passing of your beloved daughter and sister, Nicole Cohn Kapoor. It is also with sadness that we welcome back into our midst Deborah Eula and Reed Kopel, who have just recently said goodbye to Deborah's beloved older brother, Myron, sweet and loving soul, an older brother who was always so good to Deborah. And our condolences to the two of you on the passing of Deborah's brother. And sadly, your family too has two beloved ones on the Kaddish list this month, also having lost Fela Chappelle, Reed's beloved cousin, recently as well, and our condolences to your family for this difficult season. It is also with sadness that we recall the recent passing of Diana Ruday, the beloved wife of Dave Ruday, beloved mother of Daniel Ruday and Deborah Klein, and a beloved grandmother and beloved longtime member of our congregation. And also with sadness, we recall the recent passing of another beloved member of our congregation, Robert Bob Hyman, the beloved father of Michael Hyman and Nanette Wong, beloved father-in-law of Kent Wong, and beloved grandfather of Benjamin and Lisa Wong. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. We also recall loved ones who have passed away at this time in years past. We remember Max Bernstein, Larry Butwin, Tsai Chang, Stephen Cooperman, Josephine Crandell, Rebecca Kroc, Ludwig Davis, Max Dubowski, Howard Emick, Tilly Fine, William Goldfaden, Lena Goldstein, Julian Goodman, Gita Greenberg, Shirley Gross, Paul Grunwald, Helen Hurt, Carlton Hussey, Sylvia Jacobs, our past president Harry Kaufman, Mandel Kirschenbaum, Sheila Krotinger, Joseph Laxer, Ruth Lightstone, David Luria, Amelia Lorenzo, Richard Mafrika, Sidney Marks, Ted Moon, Tony Morris, Abraham Moskowitz, Blanche Nathan, Terry Owen, Esther Pasternak, Al Perlman, Mildred Remba, Jill Roberts, Robert Roden, Sidney Rosenbaum, Hyman Rosenberg, William Schaffner, Zell Selig, Leah Cericchio, Joseph Singer, Emmanuel Manny Sloan, Marvin Sosnick, Sima Spector, Bill Stevens, Candy Tannenbaum, Hyman Weinberg, William Wolfe, and Emily Wong. there are any names of loved ones you would like to add to the Kaddish list tonight, please feel free to add those names in the chat. And for those who are saying Kaddish tonight, we would like to, for a loved one, we'd like to invite you to please rise so we can offer these words of comfort. Hamakom yenechem etchem betok sha'ar avlei Tzion v'Yushalayim. May God comfort you among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We all rise to offer comfort to those who grieve as we continue together with the Mourners Kaddish on page 598. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei tekusha richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma ve'imru, amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us all say, amen. The psalmist teaches us in Psalm 150 that we should use all that we have to praise God. We should use the timbrel and the lyre, the stringed instrument and the drum, but we should also use our most precious instrument, our very souls and the breath that keeps us alive. Kol haneshama tehalel Yah. With all of our souls, with every breath, let us all praise God.
Yes, wow. And with that, Rabbi, I can just feel everybody coming up onto the bima to join us. I hope everybody sings loudly at home.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat shalom.